So it begins. Well, let's get started then. Let's get started. Hello. Oh, good, people are there. I thought I was talking to empty air for a minute. Well, welcome to the channel. Like I say, this is my first channel, so it's all going to be a brand new experience, and I'm quite nervous, but I'm sure I'll get through it okay. This is my little area for painting. I have all my paints, water bottles, everything you need for painting. Today I have a zombie dragon, which is quite exciting. I've also got an iron golem. And what I've done there, I've already given him a primer coat of black. So I'm just waiting for him to dry, and then we'll show you how we get that painted. Hi, Phil. Okay, then I'll just get started. So for my zombie dragon, I'm going for a primer coat of mouldy skin. And of course I'm shaking the bottle and mix all the pigments up. And using my little pokey stick from Reaper Miniatures, I can clear the top of the bottle. And just squirt some on my palette. If I want to thin my paints down, I use a little bottle, and that's got water in it, so I can add it if I need to. Okay, now for adding my primer, I'm just going to use a nice big brush. I'm not one for using small brushes, I like my big brushes. So all I'm doing is going straight over all the zombie dragon. Let's see if I can actually get this in focus first. Let's go to my camera controls and focus. There you go, that's better. Let me know if you can all hear me okay. Now what I'm going to find, which is going to be very difficult on the stream compared to painting on my YouTube channel, is I'm not going to have that time to let my paint dry. So that's going to be a difficult one. It means I've got to do multiple models or miniatures and let the paint dry on one and then move on to another miniature to continue painting, especially if we're doing ink washes. And most of you know how much I love my ink washes, so they take quite a while to dry. So that's why I've prepped up that iron golem as well, so I can work on that for a few minutes as well. So all I'm doing is just getting this primer coat onto the zombie dragon. I've already made the base up. I added some stones from the beach, added a nice grey primer. That's all prepped out. If my hands stopped shaking because I was so nervous, I'd be doing okay, you know that. Oh my god. Thank you all for turning up, it's really nice. When I thought about doing the Twitch stream, I was only thinking of like 1 or 2 people. I didn't think it'd be popular, but I wasn't sure. I needed to work out all the avenues because, as many of you know, Patreon seems to be going through a bit of a up and down. So I'm quite scared that the future of Patreon isn't going to be that good. So I needed to control my anxiety and try to do Twitch, just to keep all my options open. So this for me is a huge step, because I actually left my chefing job as a head chef, and I left my chefing job because of stress and anxiety. So being in a live audience is like, oh my god. No swearing on the channel, Mikey. La, la, la. I suppose I better read what you're saying. It means we love you, Michelle. Like I say, this is my first stream, so it's going to be a complete mess. It's just a case of me having my first stream and getting through it, and then I can work a plan on what's going to be painted. I just really wanted to see how I cope, and I'm starting to relax a bit more now. So, and that's the thing, this is why painting and miniature painting is so fantastic, because like I say, I left my job through anxiety and started a full-time business painting miniatures. It was painting miniatures that brought my anxiety down, that controlled it, that made me relaxed. And we all need that in our lives, because life is so stressful, and we all need a hobby to relax and unwind to. And miniature painting did that for me. And once I start painting, I kind of forget you're all there. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll make a weekly plan of each miniature I'm going to paint. And maybe you guys can join in and do your painting or whatever. I don't mind. It's just so you know what I'm painting. The last week I've just been trying to work out how Twitch works, and it's been a complete nightmare. But I think I've understood it. I don't normally watch Twitch channels because I've got my YouTube channel. But I have been watching quite a few lately, mainly just to work out how it all works. So if you see anything, let Claire know in the comments there if you think anything needs changing, because she'll sort all that out for me. Oh, this is a zombie dragon. The zombie dragon. Is Tule in the chat? Yeah, Tule's there, is she? Tule painted this a while back. She did a fantastic job. Yeah, zombies. Anyway, again, I'm using Mouldy Skin for the primer, and I need some more paint. I tell you something, Claire is a godsend to me, because she's in the other room, in the living room, and she's my moderator, as well as Renegade Shank if he's there somewhere. And if it wasn't for Claire, I wouldn't be able to do any of this, because she's been my backbone through all of it, especially when I had to leave my job through anxiety. And she believed in me and my work, that I could start my own business, and she gave me that chance to paint people's miniatures and prove that, you know, I could do the job, and I proved to her that I could. So we make the perfect couple. She's my little hobbit girl. She'll be crying in the other room now. Yes, that's going to be on our stream, Michelle. Wink, wink. See what you do when you're painting a miniature. See, when I've got to this stage now where I can't paint without getting my fingers covered in paint. So what I do is I'll actually stop there, let that dry, and then I'll go back and do the parts that need doing later. And I never do one miniature at a time. I've normally got about 10 to 15 miniatures on the go at once. I mean, at the minute I'm finishing the dragon over here. I'm in the middle of doing the Reaper Demon Lord. I've painted quite a few of these now. These are a very popular miniature for my patrons. And like I said, I've just been doing the skin tones in this one. I'll be giving that one an ink wash, and of course you've got to do all the blades and the stuff. Oh, by the way, whenever you receive a miniature and it's got a cat's hair, that's just a bonus from the cats. Having 3 cats in the house and being a miniature painter can be quite difficult. We love our animals. Let's see if this is dry. So this is the Iron Golem by Reaper Miniatures. Absolutely, it's a beautiful miniature. Absolutely beautiful. With the iron, what I do is I give it a dry brush with silver, and then I'll go over with some bronze and just mix it all in. Hoping that it's going to dry before the show ends, so I can actually show you what I'm doing. I mean, because this is a 5-minute job. Boom, boom, done. If there's any miniatures in the future that any of you would like to see on the stream, all you got to do is give me a shout in the comments, and I'll get it all sorted for the streams. But like I say, this first stream really is me building up my confidence, and I'm feeling a lot better now. I was in the back room playing Ark earlier. In fact, I've been playing Ark most of the day. Corey, I don't know if Corey's in the server, but Corey's got the Ark server on my Patreon, and I find it's a great way to just chill out and relax. So I've been hiding playing with dinosaurs all day. Okay, let's get on. It's a shame you can't all talk back, because I got to look up and read what everybody's saying. Yes, Corey, I saw you've got the flying mount now, and those that jetpack thing you got, the glider. Awesome, awesome. I need that glider for my art games. It's very hot in my workshop today, so things are drying quite fast. Let me show you something else. This is the problem. See, I'm waiting for it to dry now. I've shot myself in the foot. I'll show you. This is exciting. If anybody loves sculptors and they know Bob Ollie, this is a Bob Ollie original conversion he's done with a. And let's see if I can get it. It's from an old Star Wars toy. And Bob Ollie, he does miniatures for Reaper Miniatures, as most of you would probably know. And what he's done, he's added all these saddles and all these barrels and all these little men. I think they're from 40k. But what I've done, I've just given it a primer coat. But this is like an original Bob Ollie conversion. It's like, oh my god, you know. Now Bob Ollie is, of course, my favourite sculptor in the UK. He has worked for so many companies. He is absolutely amazing. I mean, if you know your miniatures, you're going to know his name instantly. That's quite scary when that pops up, isn't it? It's like, what is that? What is that? What's going on there? It's a raid. Great. If it's a raid, nobody's taking my miniatures. Oh my goodness. Yeah, nobody touches the Reaper miniatures. Everybody in the raid, no. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh dear. Yeah, okay then. Everybody, this is my first stream. I'm nervous enough. Oh, awesome. Thank you all for showing up. Oh dear. Oh dear. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually waiting for my paint to dry. Oh dear me. So, that's good. Yeah, okay. Okay. See, now I'm shaking. My goodness, I was just starting to relax. Anyway, welcome everybody and thank you. God. Okay. Yeah, anyway. Oh my goodness me. That's nice. Yes, Reaper miniatures. We love Reaper miniatures. Yeah. I've been painting Reaper miniatures for what? Oh god, it's too many years. But if anybody knows me, they know how much I love Reaper miniatures and what I do everywhere. So I try my best to do the hobby. I really want to try and introduce the younger generation into the hobby because I think it's starting to drop a little, so I'm trying to do my Twitch channel to try and introduce from the beginning a younger generation that I think is missing out on something really special. So I want to get the hobby involved for everybody. So my shows are going to be really quite basic. They are to get you into the hobby, and that's what I love. I mean, I try to paint my miniatures for my tabletop. They're not showcase standard. I've got so many friends. Gorilla with a Brush, he is one of my, well, he's my favourite painter at the minute. His work is showcase standard and I respect him so much and I learn from him. I mean, he's been painting as many years as I have, and I respect all professional painters. But don't expect a professional showcase standard on my channel, because I want to get my miniatures painted to actually play with, because I am a big kid and I want to play with my miniatures like we all do. I like to play D&D and I want to have my miniatures in game. Wow. Okay then. See, that zombie's starting to freak me out now. I should have put whiskey in my coffee, I think. Oh my goodness me. Okay. No, I didn't. I should have done, shouldn't I? I mean, like I said, I'm trying to keep the channel with moderated for the younger viewers as well. I've got the channel set to mature, but I mean, I can't stop people really swearing in the chat. But I'm trying my best to not have any alcohol or swearing on the channel, because I know many of my patrons are family people and they like their shows. Mighty Lancer Games, they like to have their daughter watch the show, and I don't want to be swearing in front of her. So lots of reasons why we should keep the channel nice and safe for everybody. I live in Alva in Scotland, just near Stirling. See, it's impossible to paint now because there's so many people in chat. How do people do Twitch and paint at the same time and read? It's impossible. Hello, Mighty Lancer Games. If anybody wants to get fantastic miniatures from the UK, Mighty Lancer Games is the shop to go to. Absolutely, I've known them and been friends with them for many years now, and I love them to bits. And you can't ask for a nicer shop, nicer people. Well, this is fun, isn't it? I'm not even painting, I'm just watching you guys go. Go on. Okay, thank you, Tule. I'll paint a little, but I don't want to now because I want to watch everybody else. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'll drink more coffee. Once my nerves have gone down a bit, I'll get back into it. Is there something wrong with my computer? Are people actually following me, or what is all that? What? Wow. Wow. Take care, Michelle. No. Oh. Wow. Okay. Well, I need to get on, don't I? Okay, let's get some work done on this golem. Right, I have Iron Golem by Reaper Miniatures, and all I was going to do was do some dry brushing on him. Now, I'm a very old school painter. I still use hex pots. I still got the hex pots from the old Games Workshop, which is fantastic paints. These are from the early 90s, maybe late 80s, and they still work. So what I do is I am going to use some of this. Just go straight into my pot. It's getting a bit low now. And all I'm doing is going onto my tissue, and I'm going over the whole miniature, if I can stop shaking, with my dry brush. And the reason why I wanted to show you this is to show you how easy it is to make armor look fantastic just by using black and silver. See, look at that, instantly. I mean, all I've done is gone straight over that black, and straight away it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All we need is that one cover, and it edges all the metal, brings out all the detail, and an added bonus, it actually looks like metal. And if the zombie got out of the way, you'd see it. Okay, I'll paint on this side of the zombie. Can I go back? No, I can't. How am I supposed to paint? Goodness me. Okay, I'm gonna sneak back over in a second. See, so there we are, Iron Golem. That's just black and, and silver. Now what you can do with the Iron Golem, to pick out details now, is to just... can't believe what's going on. Is we just go over with a brown ink wash, and that'll blend all your dry brushing in. Because with dry brushing it can get quite chalky. So what we do is we can use black or brown ink washes, and that'll blend everything in, and it'll also age the metal as well. The trouble with doing, like say, a live feed, as I said before, if I add the ink wash now, there's nothing more I can do to it before the stream ends, because it's not going to dry in time. So what I'm going to do on each stream is show you little hints and tips of how simple it is to get an effect like that in, what, 2 minutes, if that? I mean, that's simple, and that's a fantastic way to get your armour ready for your tabletop. Of course, you give your brush a nice wash afterwards. Oh, hello Reaper John. I was over the moon when I saw you followed the channel earlier, Mr. Reaper John. That was very nice of you, thank you. If anybody doesn't know, Reaper John is, as I call him, the main man for Reaper Miniatures. He does all your social items on the media, Facebook and Twitter. He has been nothing but wonderful and helped me in, as I could call it, my painting career. And you couldn't ask for a nicer guy. And I'm saying that with hand on heart. He's an amazing guy, and the amount of work he does for Reaper is just astonishing, because he's everywhere. He's on Twitter, he's on Facebook, probably on Instagram. I mean, the guy's like a ghost. He's like one of those zombies probably by the end of the week. Everybody works really hard at Reaper, I know that. It's just I've only really spoken to John, so I can't really say too much about everybody else, but John has been really, really nice to me, and he deserves my respect for that. Okay, let's go back to this zombie dragon. Excuse me. Again, I'm going back with my mouldy skin. Now, mouldy skin is a lovely colour, and it's a great colour as your primer for anything with zombies. Because what I do with the zombies is I'll add this, and straight away after this I'll add brown ink wash to the whole miniature, and then I'll be doing my highlights and build up the colours very simply. My miniature painting is a simple way to get your miniatures done, and hopefully to a standard that you think, oh, that's going to be good on my tabletop. And this is for you to paint, because I want my miniatures painted fast. I don't want to spend hours and hours on a miniature if I got a whole army that I want painted to play games with. If I did spend my time and paint all my miniatures to a showcase standard, which, don't get me wrong, is absolutely beautiful, and I know Gorilla with a Brush is sending me one of his miniatures, which is going to be absolutely on display in my display cabinet. but I want all my miniatures painted so I can play with them, so I can't spend all those hours on one miniature, and I don't want to. So my aim is to paint to a tabletop standard as fast as possible and still looks good. You know, you want your players to go, yeah, look at that dragon. Once I've done a few more streams, I'll be able to work out all the little things that make it better with the painting. I mean, hopefully you can see what I'm doing okay. I've noticed on some streams they have 3 cameras and one camera has got the palette, but to be honest, I'm not going to be going that much into detail like the professional painters on Reaper Miniatures, for example. You know, they really go into high detail, so seeing their palette and how they mix their colours is very important. What I'm doing is showing you the basics, so there's no point having a camera facing down just to look at a spot of black paint, is there? So it's easier for me to just show you how I get on as we're going along. There we are. So that one's done. I'll show you the base in a second. Remember to always wash your brushes often, if possible. And when you dry your brushes, don't pull at the brush, just push like this. This takes the paint off and you're not pulling out any of the bristles. This is the base to the zombie dragon. What I've done, I've added some sand from the beach and I've glued that on with some PVA glue. And I've gone over with some grey paint. This will get a coat of black ink wash, and once that's dry, that'll be dry brushed with bleached bone, and that'll be nice and sorted. Right, so again I'm in a position where I'm stuck again because paint is wet. So I shall read the comments and see what you've all been saying. Oh, I got mouldy skin, Carlos. Now my streams are going to be for an hour. I think longer than an hour, and it's too much. And I know it sounds very what's the word? Okay, I can't watch people painting for hours, even though you guys are watching me painting. And I'm not trying to scare you off away from my channel. It's just I don't want to watch people painting for hours. I'd rather be painting my minis. So, you know. Is Andy there? Yeah. So what do you think of the channel so far? Could you all let me know how everything is? I mean, I know I'm not showing you much because it's been so busy with zombies flying everywhere. Or like that. Hello, Francis. I didn't mean watching me paint is boring. I think sometimes I can be a little bit too honest. That's my problem. What I mean by what it is, some streams go on for 3 or 4 hours. That's what I'm trying to get at. If it's a 4-hour stream of someone painting a miniature, I can't cope with that. It's like my YouTube videos. I try to keep them between 10 and 15 minutes. Because that's more than enough time to get the job done. I mean, if I didn't have to wait for paint to dry, this would be a 15-minute show. Yeah. Well, yeah. It takes me. I spend. Let me say. I spend about an hour to 2 hours per mini. But I'm painting. I average 10 to 15 miniatures a day. 7 days a week. Actually, that's a lie because I take Mondays off now. Right, okay, let's carry on. Right, this is so hot in here. My paint is drying quite nicely today. Okay, what I'm going to do is with this zombie dragon, I have got brown ink wash. Now it's going to, I am afraid I'm going to have to go and not use Reaper paints for this one. I shall be using Agrax Earthshade, and that's no disrespect to Reaper's paints, it's because it's in a bigger bottle and no other reason. If Reaper did their ink washes, especially the brown one, in a larger bottle, I'm sure a lot more people would buy it. And now Reaper disowns me. What did he say? What did he say? Why did I like him? Okay, what I've got here is a big, this is a wash brush from Games Workshop. Now, I don't buy a lot of stuff from Games Workshop, but some of their brushes are quite good. He says while he's using their paint as well. So all you're doing with this, what I've got here as well, let me show you. I've got my little baby buds, the cotton buds, and you keep these handy for your ink washes because ink wash can be a right messy pig. So we're going. All I'm doing is going over the whole miniature with the ink wash. This will bring out all the details. Really fast and easy. And as you can see, the ink is starting to pool in certain areas, but we don't worry about that because we've got those cotton buds. Now we just go over, boom, 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 super fast. Now this zombie dragon is a beautiful miniature, absolutely beautiful. And once you add this ink wash, what happens is it'll bring out all those details, which makes it easier for you to paint the rest of the miniature. And it may look a little bit messy, but that's what the cotton buds are for. You can just take away any excess. The main thing is to get the ink wash done at the same time, because what happens is if you miss a part, it will look wrong once you've added it again later on. So you try to get the parts done that you need all at the same time. I know a lot of the pro painters don't use ink wash, and they're anti-ink wash, and there's nothing wrong in that. These pro painters, they got the skill, they got the absolutely amazing skill that they don't need an ink wash. They can use their paints to shade their miniatures and make them look $1 million. But when you're painting armies or painting your batch of minis for your tabletop, ink wash is sent from the gods. It is sent from the gods, because you can get a beautiful effect in a matter of seconds. So if anybody says to you, oh, you can't use the ink wash, just go to them. You have to paint how you like to paint. If you find something that works, you stick with it, and if you're happy how it's coming out, then you're doing the right thing. There is no one way to paint something. There's no rule book that says you have to paint this way. There's no rule book that says you have to paint a goblin green. I mean, it's fantasy. Who knows? Are goblins green? They could be black, they could be purple, they could be white, they could be any colour. We just don't know. So let your imaginations run wild when you do your painting, because with fantasy it can be anything. It can be anything. So there we are, that's that there. Let me just get rid of this brush. I'm going to just put it in there for now. And I just wanted to quickly show you this, because what I'm going to do now is I'm just going over the areas where there's pooling, and what we do is we use these little cotton buds, and it instantly takes away anything that is pooling on your miniature. And pooling, what I mean by pooling, pooling is what we call when the ink wash goes into the crevices and it builds up, because what happens, ink wash is very thin, so it goes into all the areas and builds up. So using our cotton bud, we just get rid of that, because if you don't do it now, and when that miniature dries and you haven't got rid of that excess, you get big clumps of nasty ink wash all over your miniature, and it looks disgusting. So you can actually ruin your miniature with having too much ink wash. So what we do, we just use a cotton bud and just take off that excess. And there we are. Now I have to try and wait for that to dry now, and like I say, in my YouTube videos it would just be bing to the next part. So what would happen after that's dried is then we'd go on to the dry brush, and for the dry brushing I would go back to the Mouldy Skin by MSP, and then I'd slowly add a little bit of white to it. Now what I use is, because it's a zombie, I use maggot white. So you've got a hint of green going in there, and I'll just lighten it up, and that'll go over all the skin. But like I say, I can't show you that now because the ink wash is going to be wet for a good half an hour or so. So I shall go back and read your comments for 5 seconds. Is everybody understanding what I'm saying? Am I talking in a foreign language, or thanks, Carlos, again. Oh, you can't speak Goblin? How many of my goblins are in the chat tonight? Give me a shout out if you're one of my goblins. Ah. Yes, you can become a goblin. Ah, the goblin herbalist is in. I thought I could smell something. Wow. You're all awesome, you know that. I wouldn't be able to do this without your support, you know that. Before I went on today, there's quite a few of you on Patreon that just really calmed my nerves. I was freaking out. It's a scary thing to do a live show. When I'll tell you a little story. When I was a kid, we used to, well, you probably all had it yourself. You used to have the primary school play. And I used to get kicked out of the play every single year because I'd get so nervous, and I'd have one of those nervous things where you laugh. So I'd be backstage waiting to do. I was always cast as a sheep or a donkey as well. You know, for the the Jesus scene. They always put me in a bloody donkey. Oh, I swore! Damn it! They always, sorry for swearing, I knew that would come out somewhere. They always put me in a donkey suit, probably because I was laughing all the time. Anyway, I always used to get kicked off the play because I was nervous and I used to laugh. But yeah, and it's the same. I felt exactly the same way before I started the show, because it's terrifying. I'm okay now, but to begin with, ooh, that's some. It's amazing how people do all these live shows, and it's only until this minute I've realised how difficult it must be for all these people that have a Twitch channel, because it's not easy. But I am so grateful for everybody for supporting me, because it's brought me out of my shell. I've thought about Twitch for many years, but it's been too scary. But I've done it now, so. Good, that's okay, Carlos. It's not a swear word. I was talking about putting some bloody effects on my zombie dragon. Okay, let's move on and try and find something else. What can I show you? Yeah, I didn't really plan this out well, because I didn't consider drying times. I'm so used to making YouTube videos where I'd film a part of what I've done, and then I'd have that like half an hour where the miniature would dry, and then I'd do the next part of the show. And all of a sudden now, because it's live, I got that drying period, which is like, oh, hang on. So I need to work something out for the next show. I think what I'll do is I'll probably have maybe 6 or 7 miniatures painting at the same time, and then I can go back to the first one, and that should be dry. Yeah, it will have to be a Blue Peter moment. Maybe what I can do is have like 5 of the same miniature in different stages. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know how I talk sometimes. Sometimes I can just dribble on about nothing, But this is the beauty of doing a show about miniature painting or miniatures. I can talk about miniatures forever. I can talk about all sorts of things. I mean, I'm doing loads of stuff at the minute. I got loads and loads of printed miniatures, 3D printed miniatures. I have so much work. It's crazy. There we go. I got little Mr. Better to say hello to Mr. Four-Scale. I mean, what's a Reaper Miniatures show without Mr. Four-Scale in it, eh? Mr. Four-Scale, he lives in my workshop, and I use him in all my shows as a scale, of course, because Reaper Miniatures use him. He's the infamous knight in shining armour now, and he lives just there. Yes, he is a famous miniature now. He is everybody's got one. I think I sent most of my patrons one as a reward ages and ages and ages ago. I think there's quite a few of them with them. See, everybody knows him. Look, it's Four-Scale. Yay! Okay, I need to paint something. Oh my goodness, I didn't think this through at all, did I? Okay. Okay. Well, he's not going to dry in time. You'll have to forgive me for my first show. This is a learning curve. This is a learning curve. See, now I'm reading the comments. Let's all watch Mikey read the comments. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, let me try and do something. I was going to show you this dragon. I've done 2 of these, but this one I'm still working on the base, and I've done a little snow base. But I need to bulk up this dragon's feet because it looks wrong on those bases. So I need to bulk up with some air drying clay and get the feet to match in with those rocks. But this is a fantastic miniature from Reaper Miniatures. I want to thank you all again for turning up for the stream. Like I say, it was my first one, and it's been amazing. It blew me away. I wasn't expecting to be raided on my first night. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. What I'll do for the next stream is I will try and plan it better that I can actually paint the miniatures. I mean, how does everybody else paint the miniatures? They must wait for their paint to dry. Thank you. What I'll do, I will organise a proper schedule for the miniatures, and I'll do a miniature. What I want to do is, if it's an hour stream, I want to do a stream where paint a whole miniature in an hour. So when the stream comes up, I can start the miniature. By the end of the stream, you'll have the finished miniature. And I think it'll probably be best to do a smaller miniature that hasn't got a lot of ink wash to do on it. Because this is the problem, waiting for ink wash to dry. I haven't got another miniature that I want to share or do on the channel at the minute. So I'm in a bit of a situation here because there's nothing I can do to that at the moment. All I can do is probably show you some more miniatures that I'm going to be doing. Yes, thank you. That's what I'll probably do. Liquid Nebula. I'm doing terrain as well for my miniatures. Like I say, once I've got myself sorted out, I'll know exactly what I'm doing. But yes, doing different miniatures and terrain at the same time will work very well for this show. And like I say, my trouble as well is I paint quite fast. So I had this to paint on the show, and it's taken me 2 minutes to show you how to paint the silver. It's like, yeah, speed painting, and it's like gone. Yeah. How did I become king? Well, that's like I say, I was head chef for some quite big companies. I won't mention names, but I do suffer with anxiety, so I had to leave my job. And I did mention this earlier, but I'll repeat it a little bit. And I had to leave my job through anxiety, and I managed to start painting the miniatures. Now, I've been painting miniatures all my life, and as a chef, I was living in the hotels where I worked. What would happen is, once I finished work, it was a live-in position, so I'd be painting miniatures all night in my room, waiting for my next shifts to start. And I've been doing that well since my since my 18 I was working as chefs. 18, 19. I started miniature painting when I was about 14, maybe 14. I always loved fantasy, but I didn't start painting until I was 14. But I've been painting ever since. But I started painting in the house, and like I say, because I had the anxiety, I had to leave the job. My partner Claire, she managed to support me and give me the confidence to start my own business, and I went self-employed and started painting the miniatures, and it all went from there. Every day on Twitter, what I did for 2 years on Twitter, I posted Reaper miniatures probably every single day to build up my audience on Twitter, and that worked. And after 2 years, I opened up my Patreon, and within the first day of opening my Patreon, I'd sold out all my tiers, and it just blew up from there. And of course, I became the Goblin King, and it was an amazing thing, and it's been growing and getting stronger and stronger every year. And there's a lot of people in this channel. I don't know if Tule is still in the channel, but Tule helped me start my business. She didn't help me start my business, sorry. She helped me she helped me with my artwork, and she gave me the courage. Oh, she's gone, is she? Oh, I won't talk about her then. Anyway, she what it was, Tule did the artwork for. She's the one who did my logos, the Michael Mordor and Goblins of Mordor, and she did those for me, and gave me some confidence to start doing my Patreon and all these other things. So again, it's always people that have helped me, and this is what I love about the community, is everybody in my Patreon, they help each other. Everybody on Twitter that I've been friends with, they've helped me. There's not been one person who has been absolutely awful. You get the odd one or two, that's normal, you get that everywhere. But what I mean is, the miniature painting community is beautiful. I've had nothing but support and love from all my Goblin patrons, and it's been amazing, absolutely amazing. And yeah, I've got a full-time job painting miniatures. I mean, I'm doing a dream job. I'm living in my house. This is my workshop in my house. I'm with my animals and my partner, and you can ask for a better life, in my opinion. My opinion is I love painting miniatures, and I live my life around miniatures. Hi Tal, how you doing? So that's the story, really. I mean, if anybody wants to become a miniature painter, you can't just start a Patreon and stick a few minis up. I had to work so hard. I mean, really hard. I mean, anybody that knows me knows how many hours I work a week. They know how much work I put into my Patreon and everything else I've done. It took me years to build up an audience, and even now I'm doing great, but I'm still having to work really hard, and you have to keep doing that every single day. I've only just started taking Mondays off again. I mean, I had last Monday off, and before that, my last day off was Christmas Day. So I had Christmas Day off, and 2 weeks ago I had Monday off. I mean, and that's how many hours I work painting miniatures every week to pay the mortgage. So when you say you want to become a miniature painter, you really have to work hard at it. But dreams do come true, because I've proved that. I've proved that also you don't have to be 18, you don't have to be 20 or 30 or even 40. An old man can do it. I mean, I'm in my very, 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 very late 40s, and I started being self-employed 3 years ago. So it proves, even at my age, you can change your career and you can make your dreams come true if you work at it. And I worked hard, and I got nothing to prove now, because I know that I've made it as a miniature painter because I put everything I love into my miniature painting. And if anybody that wants any advice, that's all you need. You need passion and love, and if you can do that, you can become the Goblin King. Oh, that's 8 p.m. Well, there we are then. This is my hour stream. It has been a blast. I will make sure that everything is sorted for the next one. I am over the moon with everybody that turned up, and that raid just just blew me away. So loads and loads of love to all of you. Thank you so much, and to everybody that started following my channel. It's absolutely amazing. I hope I can make you all proud, and I hope you all learn something from what I show you each time I do a show. So I'll say goodnight to you all, and loads of love from Scotland.